Have you ever heard of a man who killed 600 people? How did Henry Lee Lucas convince the police that he was America's worst serial killer? Why did they believe every word? And how did he get away with it for years? The truth is darker and more twisted than anyone expected. Are you ready for the real story? In this story, you'll stay lost, unsure whether he's truly a criminal or if he had no choice but to become one. And even now, to this day, no one really knows his true story. In the 1980s, news spread about a serial killer named Henry Lee Lucas, a man who claimed to have committed hundreds of crimes across the country. The police believed him, and investigators chased after the man they thought was America's most dangerous killer. But what was really happening? Was Lucas truly the killer they were searching for? Or was he playing a dangerous game? Henry Lee Lucas was born in Virginia in 1936 into a poor family and lived a life full of abuse and violence. In his youth, he had several run-ins with the law due to minor offenses, but his mental instability made him prone to violence. However, in 1984, things changed. He was arrested in Texas for the murder of a woman named Nancy Stidham. That was when Lucas started making his confessions. At first, his confessions seemed shocking. Lucas claimed he had committed hundreds of murders across multiple states, from killings in California to murders in Florida. Investigators began to believe that he was the serial killer they had been hunting for years. Lucas's confessions were not just ordinary claims. They included detailed descriptions of crime scenes, and the police thought he knew what was happening. From the crime locations to the state of the bodies, his confessions appeared to be true, but over time, things began to seem strange. The investigations didn't match the facts. Some of the victims Lucas mentioned were still alive. The crime scenes he described didn't exist. The police started to realize that Lucas might be manipulating their minds. Instead of being the serial killer they thought he was, it appeared that he was making up the confessions for the attention. He was admitting to murders he didn't commit, possibly in an attempt to strike a deal with authorities. Finally, after years of investigations, the truth was uncovered. It was proven that Lucas had confessed to murders that never happened. In some cases, the crimes he described occurred in locations far from the truth, and sometimes he mentioned dates that didn't match up. It was a trick, a psychological game with the police. Lucas had been manipulating them, pushing them to search in places that had nothing to do with the actual murders. He was enjoying the attention and wanted to be seen as America's most dangerous killer. In the end, Henry Lee Lucas was a man trapped in his own web of lies. His false confessions led the authorities to investigate hundreds of cases, but most of them had nothing to do with him. Henry Lee Lucas was not released. Instead, he was executed in 2000, but his story remains controversial to this day. How could a man manipulate the police like that? Can serial killers use their words as weapons in a game of lies? This story raises many questions. Was Henry Lee Lucas really a serial killer, or was he just a man who enjoyed deceiving everyone? Whether he was the killer or just someone desperate for attention, the story of Henry Lee Lucas remains one of the most controversial criminal cases in American history. Do you think Henry was the real killer, or was he simply someone playing with everyone's mind? The answer might remain a mystery forever.